Well, let's talk more about that decision by the London Mayor to make mask wearing mandatory on TfL transport. We can get some reaction from Steve Garelick, who represents public transport workers for the GMB union. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, what do you think then about what the London Mayor has said?
Well, I think this is a positive step in the right direction. We're still not out of the pandemic. The figures that we're already seeing is a 15-fold increase in literally a month of cases that are coming up. And I think stepping away from World Health Organization advice and other advice would be a really dangerous precipice to cross or go across. So from our perspective, it's about protection of workers, protection of those travelling, and making sure that we're safe to see each other for another day.
What is the union's position in terms of trying to protect workers with masks?
Well, I think certainly in the case of GMB, we're pretty proud of the fact that, back in very early parts of last year, I wrote to both the Home Secretary and Department for Transport requesting that masks were mandatory on all sectors, from bus, rail to private hire, taxi. And even down to couriers who theoretically could be acting as super spreaders as they go between people's homes. This is still a modal way of getting items around, although be it sort of on a piecemeal basis. Ultimately, we want to see workers protected. We want to see the value of these masks in place until there's proof otherwise.
But sorry to interrupt you. In terms, you mentioned there how you used your union might previously to tell the government what you wanted, and obviously masks were mandatory until now, because next week they will no longer be. Will you be using your union strength in regards to that again, or will you accept that the situation is now that it is voluntary, unless organisations like TfL say they want passengers to wear them?
I think what London's mayor has just said, and what it seems to be the case elsewhere in the country as well, with Andy Burnham saying, and I'm sure other leaders will get on board with this, is that it will be mandatory on public transport. There's been nothing in terms of aviation to say otherwise. And
but sorry to interrupt. It won't be mandatory. It's not. It's guidance.
No. They are saying, in the mayor's words, that it would still be a mandatory, it would still be an expectation that there would be this. And Grant Shapps himself today has said that he was hoping that something similar would come through. So from the perspective of saying it isn't a choice whether you do or don't, it's a condition of carriage. That is mandatory.
That's for TfL though, but obviously your workers go far beyond TfL.
Absolutely, but as I think you've already heard, in both Scotland and Wales, it is still mandatory. I would imagine it will stay mandatory with most transport authorities because of the health and safety issues and the duty of care to workers. And ultimately, the people who are staffing these routes, and whether it's on bus or private hire and taxi drivers who are much more enclosed space, they need protection. Why would you not be a good citizen and look out for other people by doing the right thing and wearing a mask?
Steve Garelick of the GMB union, thank you very much.